This video is sponsored by Power.
If we're able to get a full blast charging session now at the peak speed, we're going to be able to possibly set a new record today. Guys, this is exciting. Today we're putting the Tesla Model 3 long-range dual-motor Highland through one of the hardest tests we do here on the channel. The long trip test is designed to push EVs to their limit, and the point of the test is to cover the 610 kilometer, almost 400 mile route with the shortest charging time possible. The shorter the charging time, the better the results. And since this car did so well in my range test, it has all the prerequisites of setting a new record. So I'm pretty excited for today's video. Watch it until the end though, because things did actually go to plan. We've been on the road for about an hour 10, hour 20, I'm not exactly sure, but we covered 130 kilometers now, and we've come to the 2-lane section of this stretch of road. We're done with the 4-lane section, but they're going to be patches of 4-lane and 2-lane all the way down to our turnaround point in Kristiansand. But they are building new sections of 4-lane motorways, so maybe in like 10 or 15 years it's all going to be done. Yeah, road building takes a lot of time in Norway because of the terrain, because of how the governmental bodies who build these roads are set up, and also how budgets are given or allocated to these projects. But it's been getting a lot better in the past like 10-15 years. I have crazy stories from my dad when he grew up, like took insane amounts of time to just build short stretches of road. But I digress. So after having been on the road for about 130 kilometers, our average consumption is at an insanely low 14.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and that's just going to get lower and lower because of the changing speeds and lower average speed on our way from here and down to Kristiansand. We're about halfway now, a little shorter than halfway. And according to the car, we're going to arrive at our turnaround point with 45% stated charge, which is completely insane. I'm not sure if I trust that 100%, that prediction. And also considering that we're going to have lower average speeds, that may like creep up to 50. I mean, I'm optimistic usually, like I'm a glass half full rather than half empty guy. So, you know, I'm always rooting and always positive and optimistic, but I'm not sure if I'm that optimistic. If we're able to arrive there with 50%, we're gonna gun it and YOLO it. That may be the first time ever we're able to, you know, go our full route without charging. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna be realistic at all. Yeah, but we'll see. I'm not gonna, you know, play it down before we arrive there. So we have about 1 hour and 45 minutes until we're at the turnaround point, and conditions are nice. 21 degrees Celsius, dry roads, a little bit overcast like when we did our range test. Optimal conditions for, you know, having the battery at a nice temperature, having, you know, the conditions at a nice temperature, and not having the sun blasting. So we have to, you know, or sun blazing, so we have to blast the AC. There's been a little bit of traffic on our way from Oslo and down here to Kristiansand, where we have now arrived, but not a lot. I mean, it is the common holiday now here in Norway, so a lot of people are traveling down here to Kristiansand, which is a very popular summer destination. And yeah, weather's pretty nice, 21, 22 degrees Celsius now. A little bit cloudy in the sky, a little bit of overcast, but you know, that's nice again, as said, for this range test. So we arrived here with 42% stated charge, so not as high as the car was predicting. Once I stopped to go to the toilet and buy something to drink, and I jumped back into the car was telling us that we were going to ride with 40%. So we went down quite a bit, and then now it's up to 40. Well, we are right here with 42%. So I'm going to turn around the camera, guys, so I can show you what the car is telling us. Our consumption is now 13.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is pretty good, but remember, this car does over-report. Says the distance is 307 kilometers, so that consumption is going to be a little bit higher, but not by much. Still though, very low. So the big question is, where are we going to stop and charge? So I tried, putting the our destination, our start point back into the navigation system, and the car wanted us to stop and charge at not Ionity, at the superchargers in Lillesand, but I think I want to go a little bit further because the car wanted to stop, at a higher percentage and also thus charge for a longer period of time. I think we're going to go deeper into the charge. Hopefully we're going to be able to go all the way to Brokelandsheia, where I know there are superchargers. We have about, according to the car, 235 kilometers of range. So I think we're going to be able to go there. So we're going to try that out, guys, and I'll update you once we know.
Kempower offers some of the best DC fast chargers in the world with their unique, sleek, and modern load balancing charging satellites. The small satellites translates to spacious and airy charging locations. When you as a user roll up to a Kempower charging station, you don't have to think about connecting to a charger that delivers the correct speed for your car. The Kempower load balancing chargers automatically will allocate the correct power to your car, maximizing the charging speed for the whole site. When connected, Kempower chargers have a QR code you can scan, and this way you can easily monitor your charging session remotely regardless of payment method. This is just super cool. A huge thanks to my friends at Kempower in Finland for sponsoring this video.
We have now officially driven the furthest in any of these long trip tests. Yeah, we're going to take a look at the trip computer in just about a second, but the second longest, the longest before now, was right down the road with a Mercedes EQE 300 rear wheel drive a few years ago, where we went to the Ionity chargers in Ringdalskog. We went just shy of 500 kilometers, something like that. And now, we're now in Foxrøykrysset by, I think it's called Torp Airport here, Sandefjord Airport. And where do we have the chargers? Over here. They are over here. I haven't even been to the superchargers over here. But yeah, we are currently at 4% stated charge, so there may be a trade-off, and that trade-off may be that we're too low in the battery percentage to get the ultimate charging speed, but the car has been preconditioning, and these should deliver 250 kilowatts. These are V3 chargers. Okay, let's take a look here. We've covered 515 kilometers. Look at that, guys, 515. That is a new record. If we're able to get a full blast charging session now at the peak speed, we're going to be able to possibly set a new record today. Guys, this is exciting. Okay, so let's just connect to this charger here. It should be as easy as that. Plug and play. This is a Tesla press car, so we should be getting, or we should be able to just use plug and play. So I have to time this because there is no interface with the charger here. So once this starts going, which is what a time, we will start the timer. And there we go. I think we're already going. So, okay, so it says here we're charging at 33 kilowatts, currently at 4% state to charge. The timer has now been started. So this is the crucial thing. If we're able to charge for less than 10 minutes, we're going to be able to set a new record. We're currently at 4% stated charge, so I'm going to see, how much charge we need to get to where we're going, right? So let's collapse this. No, I don't want to do that. I want to navigate, and I want to go to Essoslapenden. That's where we're going to go. And the car says 30 minutes. That's far too much, but it says here minus 12%. Minus 12%. So that means we're going to charge 12% now, or maybe just a little bit extra to give us a small buffer. But once that goes like to 0 or to a few percent, I think that is going to be enough for us, because as we've driven this car today. It has been quite reliable. We, arrived in Kristiansand with 3% less charge than we thought, but we also had a headwind of about 2 meters per second on our way down. And that is a tailwind of 2 meters per second on our way up. So I think we're gonna just give it a few percentage, like a buffer between 0 and 5%. And I think this is gonna be a very quick charging session, but we're only charging at 33 kilowatts currently. Is it because there's a lot of traffic at this charging station? I'm not sure, maybe. Welcome back to our starting point here at Esso in Släpanden, where we started this long trip test earlier today, and we arrived here with 3% stated charge. So I charged the car until the car was saying we were going to ride with 1 or 2%, around that number, and we arrived with 3%. So pretty reliable, and as I predicted, because of having that tailwind on our way back, we were probably going to arrive with a little bit more juice than when we went to our halfway point, where we arrived with a little less battery than the car predicted. Also, the consumption today, an extremely low, I can't even speak, an extremely low 13.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is just completely insane. And since the last charge also, going only on the motorway, it was 12.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So a very, very, very low consumption, impressively low. I'm really impressed by how efficient this car is. Though those numbers are a little bit skewed because this car over-reports distance and every other electric car that isn't a Tesla under-reports distance. So that, consumption in the real world is actually going to be higher. When I did my range test, I corrected for that because, yeah, there is more important because that's how we calculate range. I don't know, maybe I'll correct for that or not. But you guys are here at the end of the video because you want to know if the Tesla Model 3 long-range dual motor, the new facelifted Highland model, set a new record. You may know the results already or have a clue from the title. Not sure what the title is going to be yet. Usually I, find out the titles when I'm editing these videos and putting them together. But I was really enthusiastic when we arrived at our charging stop because I was really optimistic about this car setting a new record. So, the Tesla Model 3 long-range dual motor, facelifted version, Highland, whatever you want to call it, had a total charging time of 24 minutes to cover today's trip. 24 minutes? That's a disaster. How the heck did that happen? 24 minutes. We went from 4 to 20% stated charge in 24 minutes, which is super slow. I was expecting this car to, set a new record. Maybe we could have done like 9 minutes, easily could have done 10 minutes, maybe even like 5 or 6 minutes. But when I started charging, the car was charging at 33 kilowatts and it never went a kilowatt higher. The car preconditioned before going to the charger. It has been around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius all day. The car preconditioned, all the conditions seemed to be great. My only concern was that we were below 10% stated charge. And the reason for that is the charging curves I saw that, or the charging curves I found online from this car, showed that you were only going to get that peak from 10%, and above. But we didn't get close to anything you can call a peak. 33 kilowatts, and I don't know why. The car didn't tell us why we were charging slow. And even though the charging station was busy, it wasn't full. And these are V3 superchargers, peak charging speed of 250 kilowatts. And there's something about, these being in groups of 4 and like A, B, C, and D. And if you go for like the A charger, you should go for if there's a car at an A charger, you go for a B charger. But when I connected, there were no other cars at any of those A, B, C, or D. And also during the charging session, there were cars that came, there were cars that left. So I have no idea why we didn't get that peak charging speed, because yeah, I really don't understand why we didn't get more even though the charging station was full. With other electric cars, when there's limited power from the chargers, the car will often tell you like you're getting limited power because of the charging station and not because of the car. There's going to be like some kind of information, but in this car there wasn't. So yeah, I don't know guys, I'll have to test this again, and hopefully in here somewhere I'll get a statement from Tesla, because this is just a disaster. This is terrible. We went from possibly setting the best time, me being super enthusiastic, to posting a terrible time, especially for this type of vehicle. This car should have done a lot better. So guys, let me know what you think down below. Give me your hypotheses of why we only got 33 kilowatts. It didn't go 1 kilowatt above that for that whole 24-minute charging session, even though there were cars coming and leaving. Yeah, I really don't know why. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.